Welcome to the Published Plot. I'm Nate.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Mike.
And today we are here with your first installment of the Saints of August.
Now, for August, I thought about the number of times that Mike has suggested that some zany name that you never hear anymore, or, like, it's just, weird, it should be a popular name to name your kid. So I'm making a list of just names I think you would say, yes, you should name your kids this.
Listen, people, I grew up in the 80s and the 90s as a Michael. I was never the only Michael in any of my classes. We're everywhere. The place is lousy with us. It's a great name, great saint. But
I work at a place with a dozen people. 2 of them are Mikes.
See? Let your kids stand out. And not by just giving them some weird off-the-wall name, but by naming them after a saint, someone we know is in heaven.
And then you can find ones that have all sorts of Y's and W's and like 5 letters together to make a sound. So you don't have to, have Ashley have 26 letters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you really want your kids to have a unique name that nobody's going to use, you don't need to go and make up a name. You could just go back to when people were actually making up names.
I mean, we all love Seinfeld and George Costanza's bit about soda and 7, but better than that, naming your kid after a saint. So here we go.
Yep.
On the first, we have St. Ethelwold of Winchester. They died in 1984. 984. Sorry, my bad. Died in 984. A bishop. And was called the father of monks.
Also, he was ordained by Saint...
okay. I see
Alphege.
The Bald.
The Bald.
Not to be confused with Alphege of the long hair.
And worked with Saints Dustan and Oswald of York. You can skip the Dustan and the Oswald, but the other names in this
they're just too common.
They're just too common.
Oh, let me say this. If you are looking for saint names, the Anglo-Saxon church, so between... the conquest of England, and then when the Normans came in 1066, gold mine.
Mm-hmm.
Also, think about it this way: you could name your kid Winchester, insist it's of one of the saints of Winchester, and be like, and it's totally not because I like a certain show.
Mm-hmm. Or a brand of gun.
It's all the saints of Winchester. That has nothing to do with firearms or a certain show about supernatural phenomenon. Also, on August 1st, we have Saint Secundel. Died in the 6th century, who was a hermit with Saint Friard.
Now I will make a note. I will make a note. This is not a name for your first child. It's also not a name for your third child.
It's a very narrow range.
Very narrow range in which this name is really appropriate because Secundel is the second one. On the second, we have Saint Betharius.
Nice.
Also known as Saint Boetharius. Died 623, a bishop. Attended the Council of Sens and was the chaplain to King Clotaire II of France.
Who again was not a Louis, so how do we know he's from France?
Remember, Louis is fairly specific to the Bourbons. There were many dynasties before them.
Yeah, like I believe one of the Augustines is the Saint Louis, and I'm like, should I put Saint Louis, whatever number he was, or of France?
The 9th.
Be like, no. You named him Louis? No, Saint Louis.
Added bonus to naming your child Betharius. If it is a boy, that is likely going to be a boy who knows how to handle themselves.
A boy named Beth? Absolutely. It's like a boy named Kelly. He'll know how to fight. On. Jess, do you want to do this one because you can pronounce it?
No, I cannot.
Fair enough. Sorry. On the third, we have a biblical character, Saint Gamaliel, who died in the 1st century. The rabbi who was the mentor of St. Paul was a member of the Sanhedrin who, in Acts 5, argued that the Sanhedrin should not persecute and oppress the church because if it was of God, they'd end up opposing God.
It'll kill itself off on its own.
Yes, if it wasn't of God, it will die on its own. If it is, we don't want to, fight it. And then according to, numerous stories, as he got later on in life and saw all the Christians still being Christian, he's like, well, my words state this must be of God.
Mm-hmm. Now, Gamaliel is a good bridge figure because he is still held in extremely high regard in Judaism, but he's also regarded in Christian tradition as having become a Christian.
And still been a very wise scholar. I mean, he's the one who taught St. Paul.
Absolutely.
So perhaps you're somebody of Jewish descent who happens to be Catholic, and you want to have that little bridge between your family and your family. Mm-hmm. Go for it.
Or like everyone here, you've got a Hebrew name. We move on.
I mean, again,
yours is a weird twist. Thank you, Shakespeare.
it was like a game of telephone. That was literally him listening to people in the Jewish quarter and then writing it down all wrong.
But Nate and I are both fine.
Yep. We got legit Hebrew names.
Boom. Also on the third.
L's and everything.
Also on the third. Actually, I think you can get this one.
I want to say it's Saint Trea.
You're not going to do any better or worse than either of us.
No, that was where I was going to go.
Because Trea should imply two E's. And it's Trea.
Trea.
But they lived in the 5th century. They were a Irish hermitess who was converted by St. Patrick.
So we know she wasn't a snake. And still on the third, we have Saint Waltheof of Melrose, a.k.a. Walthen, a.k.a. Waldef. Born in 1095, died in 1159, a Cistercian abbot raised in the court of King David I of Scotland.
After his mother married the king.
After his mother married the king. Nice.
He apparently hung out with another saint who was, like an advisor in there.
Waldef.
Now, for another excellent choice to name your child, Saint Agabius.
Ooh.
Died 250, Bishop of Verona, and one of our favorite types of people because nothing else is known about them.
We remember his name. We remember he was a bishop of a place we can identify.
And we remember that he lived a notable enough life that people after his death said, no, this is a guy we got to be like.
Or given how he was a bishop in the 200s, he's also a martyr, and they just didn't record that fact.
Still, this is a guy that we want our kids to be like.
Yep.
You should want your kids to be like him.
Totally.
Name him Agabius.
On the 5th, we've got another great name, Saint Gormcal. Died in 1016, an Irish abbot who was part of a monastic renaissance.
I mean, this is a very good, like, if you like
Gormcal.
If you like sci-fi, because that sounds like people would be like, was that on Star Trek?
Are you named after the Gorn? No, I'm Gormcal.
Was this part of the Dune thing? Like, after 3 books, I gave up on that whole... This is some sci-fi, right?
It gets increasingly weird, yes.
Also on the 5th...
Oh, this is a good one.
Saint Memmius. I mean, that's an excellent name. Died in 300. They were the first bishop, though it says bishop here, the first bishop of Chalon-sur-Mer.
So innovative, he was a bishop. Now, on the 7th, good old August 7th, because obviously, the 6th is always the Transfiguration. On the 7th, you have Saint Agathangelo Noury, a.k.a. Agathaangelus. Died in the relatively modern date of 1638. Entered a Capuchin monastery at Le Mans and was ordained a priest. Then was sent to Aleppo in Syria, became an Arabic scholar, was sent to Cairo to work for union with the Copts, then was sent to Ethiopia where he was martyred by being hanged by the cords of his Franciscan habit. Well-traveled Saint Agathangelo.
Yeah, and his life it's just so weird
Love
because
it.
apparently it was
Love
like some
it.
court intrigue, and it was the Lutherans that got him killed by the Ethiopians.
What the crap, guys?
This is a guy who accomplished a lot, right? I mean, because you keep hearing about these places he was sent to, but he wasn't like sent there to get rid of him. He was sent there to go do a thing.
To bring the body... See, this is the thing.
I believe he was the leader or part of a local council.
Yeah.
In
I'm just saying,
Egypt.
he
even.
was here. He was then sent there to do a thing, and then clearly must have at least achieved the goal as best as could be achieved at the time, and was sent on
Oh,
to
absolutely.
another spot.
You've got a Catholic who is working for the unity of all Christians. First, he's in Aleppo. Then he's in Cairo. Then he's in Ethiopia. These are places where Christianity has existed since the 1st century. He's working for unity, and the Lutherans come along, and all they do is create schism. Jerks.
Although, I
Nope.
I have to say, out of all the ways that we had, martyrdoms, being killed by your own clothes it seems more metal. Like, are you a goth or a metal person? Then this is an excellent name for a kid.
We're going to hang this guy. What can we use? Ooh, look, he's got a rope.
He came with his own robe.
Very Franciscan.
Most of the people who are really into, Buffy and Angel are probably too old to be having kids now, but, you could totally, it could be another one where it's like, no, I'm not naming them after the character in a movie, a TV show. This is a great saint who also
saint.
has the name Angelus.
And much like I was going to suggest for Agabius,
Agathaangelus.
as I was going to suggest for Agabius, you could just call him Ag for short.
Boom.
You'll have to,
Which you could also do if you name
Tennessee?
your kid Agamemnon.
Would
you should
actually,
not
you
what
name
university
them.
is the Aggies? So,
A lot of agricultural schools are the Aggies.
But you could then go and just call them gold because AG is
Boom.
or is it silver?
That's silver.
That's silver.
AU is
Call him
gold.
silver.
Auric.
Yeah, call him silver.
That's why his name was Auric Goldfinger.
Yes.
Goldfinger.
And also on the 7th, we have Hyperechios. He was
They were filled with Echios.
Well, there's normal Echios. And then there's
so much
Hyperechios.
Echios. They were a desert father and an Egyptian hermit. Well, an Egyptian hermit, but I'm going to add the P in because I'm pretty sure that's where that goes.
We're just going to keep beating the dead horse.
You could give me a new mouse. My roller has died, which is not helped in my end.
That's what's causing it. The roller.
That's the problem.
Except for the roller, she's a great speller.
No, I'm a horrible speller.
You gotta stop.
But it's easier to use the roller to click and copy and paste.
On the 8th of August, we have Saint Famianw. I'm not sure if that W was meant to be there.
Yes.
Famianw,
However, their other name is
AKA
Quardus.
Quardus. Now, that's the name you should be naming your
That's
kid.
the name right
Quardus. Died 1150, a Cistercian hermit from Germany who went on pilgrimages to Rome, the Holy Land, and did the Camino to Compostela in Spain. Quardus. That's the winner.
I mean, if you had a secundo or a secundin,
Then a third kid, then Quardus. No, but it's Quardus. It's not Quadus. So
but it's
he
close
can be. It
enough.
can be anywhere. It can be any order.
On the 9th, we have Saint Rusticus. This is the child who's going to love to go up to the cabin, especially if your cabin is actually a cabin. So many people I know, they on vacation, they go to the cabin, and you get to the cabin, and
It's a second house that just happens to be on a lake.
yeah.
But still, you already got a Francis. You're like, who else is really into naturey things?
Rusticus.
Rusticus. And if you want to give him him an abbreviation that's going to play better with the school kids,
He's
you call him Rusty.
I so want to name somebody Rusty.
Well, maybe you'll get another ginger cat.
So instead of Russell, you could have your Rusty be a Rusticus.
Anyway, they were a 4th century martyr. And that's all I know about them.
Awesome. On the 10th, we've got Saint Deusdedit of Canterbury. Died in the 6th century, a Roman shoemaker praised by St. Gregory the Great for his charity to the poor.
And which I'm sure he responded with, God did it. They're like, yes, we are praising you. No.
I've just done the best I can with what I've been given. I am an unprofitable servant.
Deusdedit. You want the 11th?
Yep.
And then I think we'll give Jess the 12th.
Yay.
On the 11th, we have Saint Tiburtius.
That's great.
Yeah. Not Tiberius, because that one's not so great, but Tiburtius. Died in 288, a martyr and a subdeacon, and they were beheaded.
Yeesh.
But, Tiburtius, you could call him Tibby. It's kind of like Timmy. People might mishear it, but
I'm still going to call him Turbo.
Yep.
Oh, Turbo.
Especially when he's a little kid. He'll love it.
All right, on the 12th, we have Saint Jambert, which some sources say was also called Lambert, which is not as fun as Jambert.
Jambert.
They died in 792. They were the Benedictine Archbishop of Canterbury and succeeded Saint Bregwin.
Another winner.
And if you want to be Jambert's both favorite and least favorite aunt or uncle, every time their name is mentioned, you just wow.
See, I imagine
just a little guitar lick.
Just gotta jam out a little bit.
I'm just imagining getting jelly themed gifts your entire life. You're like, jam and jelly are two distinct flavors.
I prefer jelly. I don't want all these lumps.
Jam is
marmalade. Marmalade is right after.
Jam is better, okay?
No, I stand with Paddington. I love me some marmalade. But yes, it's not a jam.
Oh, marmalade is better, but marmalade is good. But I'm saying jam versus jelly, jam is the winner.
All right, and we have another one on the 12th.
Saint Merewenna, a.k.a. Merwenna, a.k.a. Merwinna, a daughter of Brychan of Brecknock and patroness of Marham Church in Cornwall. There's a lot going on there.
Yep.
A lot of fun letters. Technically a princess.
Saint Merwinna.
Well, it's Merewenna, which,
But you've got variations, because you can also go Merwinna, Merwenna.
And to round out the first half of the month, on the 13th, Saint Wigbert. Born 670, died 738. Abbot and missionary, helped with the work of Saint Boniface in Germany and France.
What? Come on.
You mean Bonyface?
Yes,
Bonyface.
My favorite of the many Bonyfaces.
Which is also an excellent name.
Wigbert.
But it's getting too
Boniface, Boniface, Boniface.
Listen, people. Do you want your kid to be burdened with a common name? Or do you want them to shine with an uncommon name? I virtually guarantee your little Jambert would be the only Jambert in his class.
And everybody in his class will remember them. Because they're not the 6th Michael or the 7th Jennifer.
Although, by this point in time, I think Jennifer's a fairly rare name.
Yes.
Like, for us, every other girl was named Jennifer, but I think if you had a baby now and named her Jennifer, it'd be exotic.
I mean, not exactly exotic. I mean, unless you went back to the base name of like Guinevere or even some farther back. But yes, it's less common. Girls' names change a lot quicker than guys' names.
Like, I went to school with an Emma. At the time, that was a very rare name. Today, it's a very common name, but then it was fairly rare.
I blame people who like Jane Austen.
So those are your saints for the first half of the month of August.
So comment below with another saint with an obscure name that should make a comeback.
Or other obscure names that you think just don't get enough play. The older, the better.
I was just in one of my small groups on Facebook of Catholic women. They were discussing going to cemeteries and looking at the old names.
Yeah.
And so I, of course, had a comment with, both the Victorian names that are insane.
Crazy.
Especially the bare bones family of Puritan names.
Praise God, Bare Bones. Best name ever.
Especially compared to his sibling, cousin, whatever. None is good but God, Bare Bones.
Although,
we know who's a favorite.
Although that's biblical. That's like Hosea's kids. They had terrible names. So give this episode a like. Subscribe to our channel to be notified the next time we upload a plot about bizarre names. And until then,
remember to live your faith.
Love your faith.
And
share that love.